But I didn't. So
okay. Thank Hashem. We're able to learn Torah every day. It's we're learning. We should have the base of English immediately. Learning from the Nishmas of the Basbar Binyamin and the son of Mitzian. And for Shleim of Avram David Ben Sarah, Gedali gets a little bit of and for my father and Miriam Edel and Chaim Ben Sarah for Jimmy. Okay. We have to start a new Masechta. Masechta Sanhedrin. And it starts like this. Actually, Taisva says that after we told us all the laws, so now the next Masechta, we have to tell you how many judges it takes to judge the laws. As Baba Kama, Baba Metzia, Baba Vasha told us all the halachas. Now, who do you go to when you have a problem? So it says, okay, Sanhedrin. Taisus does that in a bunch of Masechtas. He tells you why the order is like this. So it starts Dini Mamanas, monetary laws. B'shleisha, you need 3 judges. Gazelas v'chabalas. Gazelas is robbery. Someone takes something from someone else, or if he denies an object that was given to him, it's also considered a robber. Chabalas is personal damage. That means if someone damages someone else, he has to pay the 5 things: nezek, tsar, the pain, and the doctor bills, and loss of work, all of that. That is also b'shleish. It's also in 3. Nezek, b'chatzi nezek, damages, and half price damages by a shor tam. If the animal didn't gore 3 times, it only pays half the price. Tashlumi kefil, tashlumi abava chamish. If someone stole a ganav, is different than a gazlan. A ganav, someone that steals, like he sneaks and he steals. So then, and he's caught, he has to pay double. The gazlan was someone that outright steals. Or tashlumi abava chamishav, he has to pay 4 or 5 times if it was an ox or a lamb. If it's a lamb, he only has to pay 4 times. If it's an ox, he has to pay 5 times. If he slaughters it or sells it, the price goes up. That those halachas are also 3 judges. Either someone rapes a girl or he seduces a young girl, under 12. And someone that spreads a bad name about his wife that he has just married. He says that she wasn't a virgin. She had committed adultery in between the betrothal and the marriage. That's what he claims. He says he doesn't find that she didn't find the blood, that she's a virgin. So those cases are also b'shleisha. It's also 3 judges. It's either a fine. When we find that he's guilty, it's either a fine of 50 coins or 100 coins. Einus in Mefat is 50 coins and makes a shame as 100 coins. Okay. That's what Reb Meir says. No, we have to jump up to what's called the Sanhedrin Ketana, the small Sanhedrin, the 23 judge Sanhedrin. We'll see at the end of the Mishnah that this is more strict when it comes to Meitzi Shemra. Because if we find out not that she was innocent, but we find out that she was actually guilty, it's not a Meitzi Shemra. But as we go through the case, there's the possibility that she may be guilty, and he's saying that she committed adultery in between the betrothal and the wedding, and so that would be a death penalty. So that has to be 23 judges. Makis, any law that would give malchus, lashes. B'shleisha, 3 judges. Mishum Rabbi Shmuel Amar Besim B'shleisha. Rabbi Shmuel says 23 judges. Ibra Chedesh B'shleisha. When they're coming to make a leap month, the extra day. Yeah, no, but it first starts off with Ibar HaChodesh. First, it's a leap.
That's how we make it.
I know. In the secular year, it's in the secular year you have 1 extra day to February, but we have every single month could be a leap month because the cycle is 29 and 12 hours, 29 days, 12 hours. But if they don't see the moon, they'll make it 30 days. Or if they do see the moon, they'll make it the 29 days. So every month.
That's for the day in Kislev.
Right, exactly. Kislev and Cheshvan could go back and forth, even by us. Otherwise, the rest are set. I think on the Sheni. Well, that takes 3 judges. Iber Hashana, the leap year.
Intercalation, I thought that refers to Adam Shani.
No, Iber Hashana is the next one. That has to do with adding an extra month. That's also B'Shleisha, yeah? 3 judges can change the whole calendar. Divrei Reb Meir. So where's the Reb Meir? Shimon ben Gamliel, Aimer, no. B'Shleisha Maschilan. You start off with this discussion with 3. B'Chamisha, with 5 people, they continue the discussion. But they conclude they need to have 7 people there. B'Shiva. But if they had 3 people, it would also be considered a leap year.
Do you go up this number only when there's 2 to 1, therefore then you go to 5, and it's to have more.
Yeah, let's see with the Gemara. We'll see why it's going up like that. Smicha Zekanim. Smicha Zekanim doesn't mean giving smicha. Smicha Zekanim means when the elders have to lean their hands on top of the animal when the community committed a sin based on a judgment of the based on a mistaken judgment of the Bezdin. It's called the Par Helam Davar Shel Tzibur. They have to lean on the animal of the sacrifice. 1 second. Then the next thing is Varifa Segla. If there was a murder between 2 cities, they measure which one was closer, and they go down. The elders go down to that valley, and they'll elders of the city that was closer go down to the valley, and they break the neck of a calf over there. That's 3 judges do that. Divrei Reb Shimon, that's the words of Reb Shimon. Rabbi Yehuda Rabbi Chamisha. Rabbi Yehuda says no, those need 5 judges. Hachalitza v'amiyunin. Chalitza is if someone refuses to do the yibam, right? Doesn't want to marry a sister-in-law, so they do chalitza. Takes off his shoe. And also miyun. Miyun is if the father passed away, father of the girl passed away, and the brother and the mother, or the mother, marry her off to someone. So that's a rabbinic marriage. She can leave the marriage by rejecting her husband. She doesn't need to get a get. She can just leave. So there's an interesting Rashi here. Rashi says, "Kol the tikkun rabbanon ken deiraisatik." Since miyun, didn't see the Rashi miyun. Since a get requires a bezdin, so miyun also requires a bezdin. Now we never saw that a get requires a bezdin. We didn't. That's right. But Rashi says that. They could use a bezdin for different things, but we thought a get just required 2 witnesses. Anyway,
I feel like nowadays
yeah, they do it in a bezdin, but probably based on this Rashi or whatever. 2 witnesses is the best.
No, 3.
Two is like 100. 2 witnesses are saying like 100. That doesn't make it a bezdin. Yeah. Neter Avai is produce of the 4th year of the tree, which is supposed to be taken to Jerusalem, and we redeem it. If you're not going to bring it itself, Ma'aser Sheni is the same thing. The 2nd tithe, you're supposed to take it to Jerusalem, but you can redeem it. Shein dam if you're doing, but you don't know its value, so you have to go to a court to redeem it. For Shleisha, you're good. You have a Sanhedrin. And what's going on?
Mine starts on 5B.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. You have to call them up.
This is the 2nd time I've done this. It's been worked on before.
Maybe you started.
7 years ago.
Maybe you didn't start at the first page. He has a Gemara that starts at 5B. Look if the binding, maybe they put the first page somewhere else. Look at your bookmarks. Maybe, oh, there you go. There you go. You see that? Masechta Sanhedrin. It starts over there.
Ah.
They did something strange.
It was all a matter of interpolation.
How'd you know that?
Is that his first review?
There you go.
Yep.
Yeah.
So what is all this?
It's a special Gemara.
Preamble.
Is it 2A? That's a 2A.
Mhm.
Go back. We're holding now by Hekdeshais. Consecration. If you're trying to redeem something that was consecrated, Bishleishia, you need 3 judges. Erchen, Hamataltlin. If you're also evaluating what something is worth regarding consecration, that's also Bishleishi, you need 3 judges. Rabbi Yehuda says one of them needs to be a kain, one of the 3 judges. We'll see all of this, what's explained in the Gemara. If it's evaluating the property for redemption, so that is Tisha V'Kayin. You need 9 plus a kayin, total of 10. But Adam Ketzibem, and the same thing applies to a person. If a person is going to redeem himself, which we'll have to see how that works, from being hektish, is a person able to be hektish, he's going to need 10, and one of them should be a kayin. Din nefashis.
If they have no coin, they can't do it.
Yeah.
They can't.
That's what it looks like from here. Well, let's see
And if
how
they
the
have
Gemara
more than
explains it.
one coin,
This chapter, they did all the Mishnayos together. Maybe the whole Sanhedrin is like this.
Yeah.
But they do, no, can't be. Let's see, the first parak. Yeah, it looks like the first parak and the last parak. They did the whole parak of Mishnayos together instead of breaking it up into pieces like other Gemaras.
Mhm.
They break a Mishnah and then another Mishnah. They just put the whole thing in one go. It must be the printers decided like when to break it up. Are we holding din nefashis, monetary capital punishment? That's Besim Rishleis. There's 23 judges. Hareva v'hanirva Besim Rishleis. An animal that a human lived with it sexually. So that, besides for the death penalty of the human, but also the animal gets killed, and that animal also needs to be judged by with 23 judges. Yeah, they bring the animal to court, 23 judges for the animal. It says you kill the woman if the woman brought a male animal hunter and the animal. And also says that they kill the animal. Okay, so that comparison between the animal and the woman is that just like the woman is 23, so to the animal is 23. Shara Niskal, when they kill the ox that gored a man, that's also 23 judges. It says the ox is put to death, and also the owner dies. Now, when it says the owner dies, it doesn't mean the owner dies. The owner has to pay. But why does it use this term dies? It says it's coming to teach us exactly this, that the way that we do judgment on the ox is the same way we would do judgment on the on the man, on the owner. And the judgment on the owner would be with 23 judges. So too, the judgment on
the opposite of what you said. The way we do judgment on the ox is the way we do judge on man. The way we do judgment on the man is the way we do judge on
Right.
man.
Right.
I'm listening.
That's great. I was corrected. It's the way we do judgment on man, it's the way we do judgment on the ox. I was saying that the way we do judgment on the ox is because that's how we do judgment on him.
But just in case someone didn't understand.
But nevertheless, okay. These are some wild animals: a wolf, a lion, a bear, a leopard and a bardalus. I don't know how they translate that. They told me in school it was a bobcat. But
It's a polecat.
pool,
Pole.
like
Polecat.
polecat.
He says for straddles.
Oh, they have pictures over there of a bardalus. Yeah, V'hanachash and the snake, misasim v'esrim v'shleish. If they killed a man, then they also get put to death. You need 23 judges for that. Can you imagine? You bring the lion in a cage or a snake in a cage. 23 judges. Rabbi Eliezer Reimer Kalakaidim Hagen Zacha. Rabbi Eliezer says no. Whoever kills it first, good for you. Good on you, mate. Right? So Rabbi Akiva says misasim v'esrim v'shleish. He says no. It looks like Rabbi Akiva is saying the same thing as the first opinion. You need 23 judges. Just wait for the Gemara to explain that. Ain't done in Layas Shevet if there's a entire tribe or a majority of a tribe that worship the Avodah Zarah, and we're going to judge them Layas Navi Sheker, or and also a false prophet, Layas a Kohen Gadol, and also a Kohen Gadol that did an Aveira. LLP Bezin Shel Shivim Echad. Over there, you can't take them to a small court. You have to take them to the big Sanhedrin of 71 judges. If they're going to go to battle, you have to go to a court before they go to battle. Mechemes Rishus means any battle that's not for the ones that Yeshua did to settle the land. That was called Mechemes Mitzvah. But the battles that they do just because they're going to war, it's called Mechemes Rishus. If they want to spread out or do something like that.
So nowadays everything is going on.
Yeah. That you need a court of 71 judges. You're going to enlarge the city of Yerushalayim, or if you're going to enlarge the Azara, you would need a court of 71 judges. There were smaller Sanhedrins that were done with 23 judges, but you need 71 judges to set those up. You need the big Sanhedrin to set up the small Sanhedrin. The city that worshipped idols that's going to be destroyed needs a court of 71 judges. It adds in now that you don't make an Ir Nidachas if it's on a border city. We don't destroy that city if it's right on the edge. Don't get any ideas. And you also can't do 3 Ir Nidachas, one adjacent to each other. But you can do 1 or 2 together. Sanhedrin Gedalah, the big Sanhedrin was 71 judges. And the smaller Sanhedrin was 23. Yeah, we could have started with that. No? We've already been discussing. How do we know that the big Sanhedrin is 71 judges? The answer is, it says in the Pasuk, Moshe says, gather for me 70 members of the elders, 70 men from the elders of Israel. Moshe al Gabeim, and Moshe was on top of them. So it's 70 elders plus Moshe is 71. Rabbi Yehuda says Shivim. Yehuda says no, don't count Moshe. It's only 70. How do you know the small Sanhedrin is 23 judges? It says the congregation will judge, the congregation will rescue, which is talking about will vindicate. So they'll prosecute and vindicate and defend. Well, the term Ada Shefetes Veda Matzelas. There's a Ada that prosecutes and there's a Ada that defends. Harikan Esrim. That would be 20. The way we got this is because we were saying that an Ada, they probably turned it off because Rabbi Marlowe is probably strict about water staying overnight in the metal thing.
We used to always empty out.
You have to empty that thing?
Otherwise, not.
It's
not.
They have snakes on the.
According to
second
some,
floor.
it's a halacha.
Snakes and scorpions are only on the second floor.
Talking about the hot water over here that was turned off.
It's like megabus.
So it says that an Ada is 10. Congregation is 10. How do we know? It says in the Pasuk, how long will this evil congregation continued to anger me. It was by the spies. The spies went into Israel and came back with a bad report. So Yatsi Yeshua v'Kalev, you just subtract. There were 12 spies. Subtract Yeshua and Kalev. They were good. They were not Eida Ra. They were not the wicked congregation. So that leaves us with 10. So the way we know that you need 23 judges is because you have one congregation, one Eida that's prosecuting, one congregation that's defending, and that's 20. Right. Now, how do you know it's 23? I have a pasuk that says that you don't go after the majority to find someone guilty. A little surprised. But it sounds like you would go after the majority to find them innocent. Imkain. So why does it say you go after the majority to find them innocent? Like what it means to say is that the way that we lean towards the lenient is not the same way we lean towards. It's like a double standard. If you have one extra judge that says the person's innocent, that's the majority, and then we rule by the majority. If you have one extra judge to find them guilty, you still don't have enough. You need to have 2 extra judges to find them guilty. What do you do if there's only one? Well, you're not going to say he's innocent, but you can't make the psak yet because you need 2 extra judges to find them guilty. Then, in other words, it's not considered the majority until you have 2. That's the way we could view it. So you have 2 more, not just 1 more, not 51%, 52%. I don't know exactly which court, but it's, I guess, 23. So what we're learning now is that in order to find them guilty, you already had 20 judges, but you need 22 to find them guilty because you need 2 extra. You can't just have 21. You need 22.
What's the thing about, I think in the Sanhedrin Daf that if everyone votes guilty, that let him go free, some weird.
Really?
So how does that fit in with this reason? Why don't they just
if everyone votes that he's guilty, then he's innocent.
Right, that if he goes free.
Right.
Why don't they just bring in one more, like one more? Moshe was 71.
Right. If they would do that, then it wouldn't be. Then that would change the rule.
Assuming that he would go against everyone else.
Right. Now it says main best in shakel. But you can't have an equal court because let's say it's not 10 and 10. Let's say it's 11 and 11. So then you need an extra one that has to go one way. So we can, instead of 22, it's going to be 23. That's the source for the 23 judges. How many people in the city do you need to have a Sanhedrin? It says May of Esrin, 120. Where it has to explain why it's 120. Reb Nechemia Yomer, Masayim, B'Shleishim, Keneged Sari Asaris. You need 230. Now, the reason for that is because when Yisro came, he told Moshe Rabbeinu, you have to have different sets of judges. You need judges of 1,000, judges of 100, judges of 50, judges of 10. So if you would have judges of 10, and you would have a city of 230 people, then you would have a Sanhedrin of 23 judges. Right? Remember there was like this question, how to figure out how many lawyers there are in Chicago. Something. And it said, oh, you can figure that out. You just have to find how many people there are and how often people go to lawyers.
How many Lubavitches?
They change the light bulb. But it's interesting that you have so many. How many judges do you need for 10 people? For 230 people, how many judges do you need? So it sounds like they have a case every day, So how often do you go to court? When's the last time you went to court?
So in every city?
You go to court, I don't know, a few times in a whole lifetime you have a case. This is a lot of judges for 230 people.
Yeah, especially like in a small town.
I guess maybe it's Shilas. I have Shilas every day, Yeah. But you don't need 23 judges. Okay, that's right. The common people were very ignorant, and so Hill is suggesting that maybe the gap of ignorant to knowledgeable was much greater. So the ignorant were very ignorant. They had much more questions, maybe. The Gemara asks, the way the Gemara started out over here is the Gemara said, Dini Mamanis Bishleisha, right? Monetary cases is 3 judges. Robbery and injury is 3 judges. So 1 second. Robbery and injury is monetary cases. Why are you telling me again some other? But if you told me the general rule, that would cover everything. Now you tell me, now you're going through specifics. We already got this. We already got it from the general Dini Mamanis, all monetary cases. Amar Rabavo answers this question. He says, Mahin Katani. What we have to do is you have to add in a little word, 1, 2 words, and that's going to adjust the whole Mishnah. It says, Dini Mamanis Bishleisha, right? Monetary cases is 3 judges. Now you add in the words, what are monetary cases? Okay, now we're going through it. Mahin Dini Mamanis, what is it? Gazelas v'chavalas, robbery and injury. What it's coming to tell me is that when it comes to lending money, if someone is either someone has admitted that he owes money, or if someone is denying that he owes money, right? So both of those don't need the 3 judges that we mentioned. In other words, what we're doing here is we're saying, what are monetary cases? Only robbery and an injury. But when it comes to loans, then you don't have the 3 judges.
What do you?
Well, let's see. The Gemara's going to ask.
Gemara we just finished. 3 judges.
You'll see in a minute. Yeah. Gemara's going to ask. So, utricha, and it's necessary to write it like this because the itana dini mamanas. Let's say we just say monetary laws. Havamina afilu haydais valvais. I would have understood that cases that have to do with denying or admitting to loans would be the same halacha. So it says it's only robbery and injury that has the 3 judges, but not the loans. Let's say it never would have said monetary cases. It just would have said robbery and injury, 3 judges. And it doesn't say monetary law. So then, I would have understood. I would have understood. It says robbery and injury, but it's probably also referring to loans. So why did it say robbery and injury if it's referring to loans also? Because where does it write in the Torah that you need to have 3 judges? It says it by robbery and injury. Where does it say it by robbery? Over there it's talking about by the Shemer, the Shemer Chinam that was watching an object that's denying that he had it, or is denying that the person gave it to him, so he has to go to court to take an oath. What is the court? It says v'nikra balabais el halikim. Has to go to the elikim, which usually we use for Hashem's name, but it could also mean to the judges, to the bezdin. Now it says 3 times over there the word elikim, which tells us that there's 3 judges. So this was talking about by robbery. So why, when the Mishnah lists 3 judges, it listed by robbery? Well, that's because that's the source in the Torah of the 3 judges. But really, that would apply to everything else, and even to loans. So I would understand that loans is also 3 judges. In chavalas, what about the damages? Well, it's mali chava b'guf, mali chava b'mayne. What's the difference? If you damage his body, you damage his money. So 3 judges for both. But when it comes to loans, it would be. When it comes to loans, I would think it's the same, and it's really different. So Tana mahi and dini mamanas. So the Gemara asks. So therefore, the Mishnah does it in this way. It says monetary laws, 3 judges. What are monetary laws? And then we exclude by saying what they are. We exclude loans by saying gzelas v'chavalas, that it's robbery and injury, and that gets excluded. In other words, what the Gemara just did is it said if it only would have said monetary laws, we would have understood loans as well. If it only would have said gzelas v'chavalas, robbery and injury, we would have understood loans as well. But when you say both, you say what are the dinim mamanis, and you say it's only this, then you got robbery and injury. Then you got robbery and injury included, and you got loans excluded. Gemara says, "Ulamai, what are we excluding it for?" Dr. Stein and the Gemara are asking this question.
Anxiously.
Both anxiously. See the expression in my Gemara. Okay. Ilema, if we say Lebin and Shleisha, that when it comes to loans, you don't need three judges. Rabavo, 1 second. Rabavo says, Shnayim Shadanu Dini Maminas Divriyakal and Dinam Din. Two people judge monetary cases. Everyone holds it's not considered a good judgment. So it can't be that you don't need three judges. Yeah, of course you need three judges. Maybe what it means is you don't need expert judges. You can use judges that don't have smicha. They weren't appointed, and that's what you can use for loans. Micah Savar, how do we get to this? What do we hold? Ika Savar Irav Parshas Ksiv Khan, the Bainamim Nomchen. Ika Savar Ein Irav Parshas Ksiv Khan, Shleish Lamli. See, that source that we mentioned before, you go to court by the Shemer Chinam, there it says, by the Shemer Chinam that's watching an object and he denies it, it says that you end up going to court. Now, there's a machlekes in the Gemara if that is, that court discussion there is out of place. And what happened is, in that case, it says, it says that if someone does a partial admittance, it admits to part of the claim, so then he has to take an oath. Now, a shomer has to take an oath whether he admits to part or whether he denies everything. So that concept of a mitzvah is really not necessary by the Shemer Chinim. That's really for a loan. Which means that the psukim that we thought it says by Gezela, which is by the Shemer Chinim that's denying, was really not talking about the Gezela. It's really talking about a loan. It's called Irav Parshas, that the sections of the Torah are being merged. They're being combined. They're being mixed. That the laws of Bezdin is really not even though it's written by the Shomer, it's really not referring to the Shomer, it's really referring to loans. Now, if that's the case, if you hold Irav Parshas, that the laws are merged, so then you should need three expert judges by loans. So how does it say you don't need three expert judges? And if you say that it's not merged, then maybe you don't need three judges at all. Maybe you don't need three judges. So that's the Gemara. It says, if you hold that the sections of the Torah are merged, then they should be expert. Why do you need three if it's not merged? It doesn't say anything about judges by the loan. The Gemara says, really, they are merged. And therefore, you should have expert judges. You should have expert judges. And this that we say that for loans you don't need expert judges, because of something that Rabbi Hanina said. Rabbi Hanina is first generation Amira. Rabbi Hanina said, according to the Torah, whether it's capital punishment or whether it's monetary law, we should cross-examine, we should interrogate the witnesses. Shenemar, as it says in the pasuk, Mishpat echad lachem. There's one law for you. Matam, one law for you would mean that it doesn't matter. There's one way of doing judgment, and everyone needs to be interrogated. Matam amradini mamanas leibin drisha v'chakir. So why don't we interrogate the witnesses when it comes to monetary laws? Because we don't want people to stop lending. If we make it too harsh on the witnesses, then a person may end up lending money. The borrower denies that he borrowed. The witnesses show up, but during the cross-examination, they get rejected, and then the person doesn't have any way of getting his money. So he said, we're not going to do the cross-examination by the witnesses. Okay, so you're not going to do cross-examination by the witnesses. There's one more detail that we're adding in here, is that it's possible that he may not be able to find expert judges. And if he's going to lend money till he's going to be able to wait for the courts are going to be all backed up to get the expert judges, could be a few years till he gets his money. So what he does is, what they said is that you can use judges that aren't expert judges, and that way the person can get his money back, because they can also make a ruling. Okay, so that's like a comparison what we did here. Just like we don't cross-examine the witnesses when it comes to loans, we also allow the lender to take him to a court of non-expert judges. It means that they don't have smicha. Could be it wasn't appointed. Also, wasn't appointed by the
You said earlier on.
by the Nasi. Smicha,
Transmission.
right? Elameata, Mara says, if there's permission to use judges that aren't expert judges, so tola yishalmu. If they make a mistake, they shouldn't owe the money. There's a rule that if an expert judge makes a mistake, he doesn't have to pay. We give him some leeway that he is an expert, and it was a real mistake. But he doesn't have to pay the litigant that lost the money, the losses. But if it's a judge that wasn't supposed to be a judge, that he decided to be a judge, he wasn't an expert. Half of them are like that. Is that what you said? So
90%.
So then he does have to pay, because this is really his fault. He never should have stepped up to the plate if you don't know how to do this, right? So, but now we're saying 1 second, but they're allowed to. Why are you making them pay? They have permission to do this. So Torah, even if they make the mistake, you shouldn't have to pay. The Gemara says no. That's going to be even a bigger problem. If there's no accountability, then for sure people won't lend money, because they're going to go to those judges that don't know what they're doing. They have to encourage them to be more knowledgeable, even though they don't have the smicha. The way they encourage them to be more knowledgeable, to do their research, to learn, to know how to paskin, would be by making them pay if they don't do it well. Okay. Now the Gemara says, 1 second. You know how we got into this? Because we were trying to figure out that dini mamanas includes everything, includes all monetary cases. And then we said robbery and injury is part of monetary cases. So the way that we explained why do you have to say those two categories is because you wanted to exclude the loans. But now you don't have to do that, because what you can do is like this. You can say monetary case, dinim mamanas b'shleisha. Monetary cases, which let's translate as loans, is 3 judges, including loans, but we're referring to judges that aren't experts. Chabalas v'gzeil v'chabalas could be 3 judges that are experts. And now we don't have to say that it's excluding. We can say that it's yachi tartik tani. It's saying 2 cases. Dini mamanas b'shleisha hedyaitis. When it comes to monetary cases, you can use judges that aren't experts, 3 judges. Gzeil v'chabalas b'shleisha mumche. You didn't have to tell me what you told me, that it's coming to exclude loans. And robbery and injury is you do need experts. But another issue is shleisha lamali. Why do you have to say twice 3 judges? It says monetary cases, 3 judges. Robbery and injury, 3 judges. Why do you have to do that? If all it's doing is explaining it, you just have to say what is it? Dini mamanas is 3 judges. What is dini mamanas? Robbery and injury. You don't have to tell me again 3 judges. Ella Amarava, rather Rava says Tartik Tani. The Mishnah is actually telling me 2 things. Mishum de Rabbi Chanina, and because of Rabbi Chanina, exactly the way you were asking the question is exactly the way Rava is suggesting that the Mishnah is read. Dini mamanas Let's start the Mishnah again. Dine mamanas, monetary cases, bishleisha, hedyaitis. Talking about loans, you don't need expert judges. 3 judges that aren't experts. Because when it comes to robbery and injury, that's bishleisha, that's expert judges. Very interesting. A new reading of the Mishnah. Ravacha Breder Avika Amar. Ravacha Breder Avika says, Midaraisa Charna Mikasha. Really, you can use 1 judge as well, Midaraisa. You don't need 3 judges, Midaraisa. Shenemar B'tzedek Tishpei Damisecha. With justice, you should judge your nation. Now, the word Tishpei has the tough in front of it, which is a singular you. Could also be she, third person, feminine. But otherwise, it's a masculine, second person masculine. Tishpei. If it was plural, then it would have said Tishbetu. You all should judge. Or it could have said Yishbetu. They will judge. But Tishbeit is a singular. So really, it sounds from the pasuk that you can use 1 judge. We use 3 judges because we're afraid that maybe we're going to get a judge that's not going to be knowledgeable. Yeshvikanis means like an idler that hangs around in the market. Going to get someone like that, they won't be knowledgeable. It says, but you don't have 3 people that are idlers, that aren't knowledgeable. All of a sudden, when you say 3, then that means that you have experts. That's what it says. No, it's true that it's possible like that, but the EF means it's impossible. It's probable that if you have 3 people, one of them is going to be knowledgeable, and he'll explain to the others, what it's supposed to be.
Question. I thought we used the term tzedek. Tzedek tishbet. Sounds like I'm going to give the new drive here, but only on Hashem. That Hashem is only the true judge. Because only He can make a judgment that will actually be right for everyone that's involved in the case. So, does anybody say that the end of that sentence is, why you have to do these things? Because Hashem, He judges all you. Therefore, you guys have to be copied like Hashem. I know
that's another drash.
It's very
Is it said anyway?
Yeah, but it's not in this context of how many judges there are,
I'm not telling you right down.
Worth a try.
Yeah. Elamayata, if that's the case, that this is acceptable, that they're allowed to judge, they shouldn't have to pay. They shouldn't have to pay if they're allowed to be doing this, because you only need 1 judge, and then you have here you have an extra 2, right? Why should they have to pay? This is acceptable. It says Kolshkein in the No, we have a concern that if they don't have to pay when they make a mistake, then what's going to encourage them to study? So to encourage them to study, we'd say that that they have to pay if they make a mistake. Now the Gemara just concludes, what's the difference between Rava that said 3 non-experts for loans, 3 experts for robbery, and Ravacha Breder Aviko, who says you need 1 expert. Well, you can use really midaraisa, you only need 1 judge, but we have another 2, just to make sure that one of them isn't that at least one is knowledgeable. It says Ikabinayo, the difference between these 2 opinions is Damar Shmuel. Shmuel says Shnayim Shadanu. If 2 people judged, Dinayim Din, it actually is acceptable. That contradicts Rabbi Vo before, right? Rabbi Vo said 2 people that judge, it's not a judgment. Here Shmuel says 2 people that judge, it is a judgment. Elishnikar best in Chatzaf. But it's considered a Chatzaf is like audacious. They're like chutzpah. And the explanation why it's considered a best in chutzpah is because when you have 3 judges, so the judges are not allowed to, after the case, they're not allowed to walk out and say, I really wanted to make you innocent, but the others said no, so that's the rule. You're not allowed to do that. So when you walk out, no one knows which judge was saying this, which one was saying that. No one knows because there's 3 judges. Each individual judge could have been the one that was trying to make him innocent, and they'll never know. They'll never know. But if there's 2 judges, then if he says that he's guilty, then they don't care what the person, what the people think. They don't care about them. They don't care at all. So, and there's no hiding. There's no covering up.
That's right. The article
That's called Bezdin Chatzah.
uses the word insolent.
Insolent.
Insolent means disregarding others. So that's a better word.
Disregard, insolent, the article uses. So it's the disregard for what people think about them. That's a Bezdin Chatzah. Rava, according to Rava, Leslie the Shmuel, Rava says no. Minatayri, you need 3 judges. Minatayri, you need 3 judges. So 2 judges is not going to work. Ravacha Breder Ravika, maybe Rava is the opinion of Rabavo before. In Ravacha Breder Ravika, Leslie the Shmuel, Ravacha Breder Ravika holds of Shmuel. He says that you really only need 1 judge. And Shmuel is saying that no, that 2 judges is good. Really, Ravacha Breder said you really only need one judge midaraisa, but we added in another 2. And Shmuel says, okay, so 2 judges is acceptable. Okay.
Wow.
Let's leave
I
it
want
over
to
here.
tell you, you can't keep on going till the Mishnah. It ain't gonna happen today.